Hello and welcome back on my channel. We ended last episode with the installation of all RC components. So far everything is working just fine, which means we can move on to some more detailing. The cockpit is still looking very plain right now, and of course we're missing all the leather parts here, which I think is the next thing that we're gonna attack. I bought some color from Vallejo. I went for some beige. I think it will look great on the model, but let's find out. I've now painted all the leather parts of the model, and as a quick reminder, you have two options regarding the cockpit. You could either use the bucket seats, or you can take the more classical approach and have the bench. I'm leaning more towards the bench for two reasons. I think it's more practical because these three parts will be glued onto the lid, which will then be one single part that you take off whenever you need access to the electronics. And if you go for the bucket seats, you have to velcro them somehow to the floor, because if you want to access the battery that is sitting in the front, you need the seats to be removable. So it's not very practical. And the second reason is I think it looks more elegant with this one big space that is covered in this beige color. I will try to do my best to mimic the option with the two bucket seats and show you what I mean. This is the closest I can get to the bucket seat version, just to show you guys. The two seats would actually sit a bit lower in the cockpit because you would need to cut away the bench they're currently sitting on. It also looks quite neat. However, I prefer the bench version because the leather then kind of flows into the cockpit in one piece. Hope you can get the idea. Whereas here you have rather a clear distinction between the sunbathing area and the cockpit. But as I said, this is a personal preference. Both look really, really nice. The bucket seat version is, of course, a bit less practical. But let me know what you think in the comments. Before I glue on the leather parts, I will make sure that the lid follows the lines of the deck a bit more. It is quite flush here in the front, but here in the back you can see we have quite some height difference. And if I add the leather, this will be increased even more and it will stand out way too much. you just saw me apply the last stickers to the model, which means we are done with the construction of this kit. And I think it's time to hand it over to the proud owner and talk a little bit about the kit itself and the building process. Let's start with the positive aspects. Something I really like is that usually when we talk about wooden kits of sport boats, we usually think of Chris-Craft and Rivas, and this here is kind of a modern take on the same type of boat, which I think is refreshing. The other thing that you can truly see throughout the build is that you have a premium manufacturer that is doing this. The quality of the parts is just astonishing. Also, the construction itself, it's very well thought through. Nothing is wobbly, nothing fits too tight. It is a real pleasure to assemble this model. Also, I love the idea that you have the possibility to choose from different types of wood, which means that every kit is bespoken. You will never see the same model twice on the pond. This is absolutely fantastic. Another thing I like is that the kit comes with all the components needed to have a running model, which is nice because at this size it can be quite the headache to find components that fit into the tiny hull. This said, I haven't tested the boat yet, so we will see the performance in another video. Moving on to things that I personally think could be improved, but this is just my personal opinion. Let's talk about the build instructions. The manufacturer declares that this model is not intended for beginners, and I have to agree. It is basically a collection of pictures, and it's upon you to decide or to figure out what's changed between the pictures and how you get from point A to point B, which is fine. You also get a lot of nails and different screws, and that's something I think could be improved. It would be nice if you had some indication where to use what type of screw. Also, because of the nature of the manual, it's very easy to forget something or to miss a step. Happened to me. When you look at the deck, you'll notice that between the dark part and the actual deck, usually you have another fine stripe. And yeah, it kind of bugs me, but it's too late now. And this is the type of details that you just have to know about, because you're not gonna find that in the instruction. So just be careful if you decide to buy this kit. Regarding the material that is recommended to seal the hull, I have to say you get a very nice finish, that's for sure, but I'd argue you get a similar finish using traditional yacht varnish. It's supposed to be easier to handle. Personally, I had some struggles with it being either too thin or too thick and dripping, but maybe that's just me. At the end of the day, it is quite a pricey option for the amount of material you get. Just bear that in mind. All in all, I really enjoyed building this model and I'm very pleased with the result. Can't wait to see it in the water and test its performance. If you have any questions regarding the build, then let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I say thank you for following and watching the episodes. See you next time.